Thank you for watching the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. You're watching another edition of the Solid Sports video blog. Today's date is November 19th, 2020. This is episode 154 of the blog, Thursday Night Football edition. Of course, featuring tonight's game between the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm Troy West, and thank you for joining me today. Huge show today. I do my power rankings for week going into week 11 of the NFL. Big game tonight. This game will go as far as to winning this division, the NFC West, of course, with both these teams in. And don't forget the Rams. They're also 6-3. All three teams are tied right now. Cardinals with a slight edge because they beat Seattle already this season. So this is probably a bigger game for the Seahawks to take back control of this division. If the Cardinals win, they will definitely be in the driver's seat of winning this division. The great play by both of these teams, quarterbacks Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, we'll talk about them as well. Big week in sports period. The NBA draft was last night. It's been NBA trades as the season was getting on its way. Well, the off season anyway. And the season starts in a month. I think free agency starts tomorrow. So we have a big show for Saturday as well. I went live last Saturday night, it felt pretty good. I didn't go live for a long time in any of my projects, my gaming or the blog. That was the first time I did a blog live. So it felt pretty good. I might do that more often. I might do it this Saturday. Just get on there live and talk. Then I don't have to worry about the lift of the video. It's just a lot easier to go live. So I might do that again. Saturday again. I haven't decided yet, but if I do, I definitely see you guys one way or the other on Saturday as well. But we're going to focus just on the NFL and this game tonight. Like I said, a huge game in the NFC playoffs as well. But the way the standings look, probably all three teams from the NFC West, Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks, all three might still make the playoffs. But winning the division will go a long way. You get a home playoff game, first of all. And still got a shot at the 1 seed as the Packers and the Saints are tied at 7-2. I think the Saints are the tiebreaker for that right now. So I guess the Cardinals technically are third in the NFC. Seattle is just in the playoff picture at the 7 teams this year. The Rams are ahead of them due to tiebreakers and stuff. So even though the Rams haven't really played anyone yet. Well, they had a big win last week against the Seahawks, and then they play Tampa this week. So we'll see what the Rams are really about in the next few weeks, and maybe they could take control of this NFC West division as well. But we're gonna not touch on the Rams, at least not today. We're gonna focus on these two teams, Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Arizona's on the road, so I'm gonna start with little nuggets on the Cardinals. Of course, probably one of the plays of the year so far. The Hail Kyler Murray, as Kyler Murray was able to find DeAndre Hopkins in the end zone at the end of the game against the Bills. On the Hail Murray after Buffalo just drove the ball down the field and took the lead. So the Cardinals been sort of escaped by, but they've been playing pretty well. It's pretty good football. But they still put out the win last week, 32-30 over the Buffalo Bills. Bills look like they about to. Well, now they getting challenged in their division. As Miami's coming in New England, look like they start to get things together as well. So they haven't wrapped up the AFC East yet. But the Bills been playing pretty good, so it was a big win for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, of course, he's been downplaying all the MVP talk, but he's definitely starting to become in the conversation now. Not just throwing the ball with his legs. Of course, he makes a lot of plays. Running the ball, I think he is among the lead leaders in rushing period and rushing touchdowns, especially going away as a quarterback. So sort of doing the same things Lamar Jackson did last year. So that's why some people predicted he might win MVP if the Cardinals, especially if they win tonight's game. That'll go a long way. But now today's game has changed. Of course, you wanted that big tall, strong quarterback, which people still go for. A la Justin Herbert, who's doing well for the LA Chargers, despite they coming up short in a lot of games. Kyler Murray is definitely under 6 feet tall, but he can move in the pocket, got a strong arm. Got a little baseball background, so did Russell Wilson as well. But I like Kyler Murray. Like, he showed me, as a fan, like I said, I was a Ravens fan. They came here to Baltimore last year, played the Ravens, and I watched the game on television. And he jumped out at me then. I think it was only like his third game in his career. Now, the Ravens won the game, but he scared me a little bit. He made some plays down the stretch of that game, just couldn't get it done. But I knew that he could do what he's doing, and now in his second year, he's taking the next step. So Cardinals definitely made the right decision. Remember, they drafted Josh Rosen. And that didn't work out. They wound up trading to Miami. Now I don't even know where Josh Rosen is. But he decided to go with Kyle. Of course, Cliff Kingsbury had a lot to do with that as well. So Cardinals just maybe just shore up the defense a little bit, get the running game more consistent, and Cardinals could be a challenging team to deal with. Playoffs, like I said, I was just talking about the playoffs. I think they definitely got a good chance. If they win tonight, it's almost a guarantee that they at least will make the playoffs. Because at the bottom of the NFC, period, after, like I said, after Seattle at 6-3, I think the next team is 5-5, which is the Bears, and I don't think the Bears going to turn anything around. Well, at least it don't look like it. And all the rest of the teams are either in the NFC East, so I don't think you have to worry about nobody really coming up to claim a playoff spot. So I think, the winner of this game will definitely be in position to win the division. But even if you lose this game tonight, I think you still a high possibility of making the playoffs anyway. Like I said, I think pretty much the NFC is set as far as playoff teams. I think, you got Tampa and there's the other wild card right now, trailing New Orleans, but I think both of those two will get in regardless of who won that division. Now people saying Tampa could pass New Orleans. Drew Brees with the injury. We'll talk more about that Saturday, but he's hurt. But just the bottom part of the NFC is sort of some separation between after Seattle is the Bears and the Lions. Maybe you can put them. I think they got 3 wins. I think after the Bears, I think everybody got 3 or less wins. Whoever win the NFC East will win that division, then nobody else will come out of that. So I think it'll be, like I said, 3 teams from the NFC West, 2 teams from the South, and then 1 each from, I think Green Bay pretty much going to win the North. Look out for the Vikings. The Vikings has been streaking as well. But like I said, we'll talk more about other teams. But just the playoff picture, just want to give I think definitely the Cardinals got definitely a high chance to make the playoffs, even if they lose tonight. I think they still probably make the playoffs. But I think Minnesota's pushing up the track. They might pass Chicago. I think that's the only team I worry about that's sort of out of it somewhat. But they've been playing a lot better. I think Minnesota can come up and claim a spot. You have to watch out for them. I think pretty much the NFC is set. So I think both of these teams will probably make it. Like I said, the future is bright for this team. Cardinals, like I said, Kyler Murray will continue to get better. DeAndre Hopkins, to me, he's the best receiver in football. I've been saying it for the last year or so. I like Michael Thomas. You can probably name, like I said, Julio Jones. They clear your top 3 right there to me. Antonio Brown is back, but he haven't played. DK Metcalf, I like DK Metcalf well, but he's young. He still got a lot to prove. Adam Thielen don't get a lot of love, speaking of Minnesota, but I think DeAndre Hopkins is the best. Having all these different quarterbacks in his career, especially in Houston, until they got Deshaun Watson, and you see how he became even more consistent with a consistent quarterback. And I think with Kyler, when they get him the ball too, I think he running away with the receptions, total receptions in the league. So But I think the Cardinals got a good future. I think they ain't going nowhere. I think they're going to compete for years. I think they got to, like I said, continue to build that defense up, get Kyle a little bit more help, and I think the Cardinals will be fine. Let's talk about Seattle here. Seattle is coming in here, struggling, limping in here. Lost to the Rams last week, 23-16. I think it was a Sunday night. I think it was last Sunday night. I think it was. It's a Sunday night game. Russell Wilson been struggling. He started off hot. He still lead the league in touchdown passes with 28, but he has 10 interceptions. But all of the last, say, 4 or 5 games, fumbling the ball, just turning the ball over. And even in this game, but in the other 2 losses, one to the Cardinals as well. That's why Seattle right now is 3rd in this division, because they lost to both Rams and to the Cardinals. But in those losses, Russell Wilson turned the ball over, and then the defense has been terrible, like surprisingly terrible. I mean, they still got some of the same guys. Of course, not the Legion of Boom defense, but they got a lot of the same guys. You know, like linebacker core, Cam Chancellor and KJ Wright, and I think Jamal Adams been in and out of the lineup. Maybe he can solidify some things, but the defense has been very, very bad overall this year. Russell will have to do too much, scoring 30, 40 points a game. I think they still lead the league in scoring as a team. So, but Russell Wilson, to me, he's still, well, I guess, maybe for me personally, right now, I'll give it to Patrick Mahomes. He only got 1 interception all year. I think he got 25 touchdown passes. So I understand how Mahomes could be the leader. Some people, a lot of people started to make a case for Big Ben Roethlisberger because Pittsburgh's undefeated, even though his numbers don't jump out at you like that. But he's been considered Tom Brady as well. But Russell is still up there because what he's done. He struggled the last few weeks, but he's still up there in the MVP conversation. But he got to play better. And the defense, well, the whole team has to play better, but definitely Russell, you got to not turn the ball over. If you don't turn the ball over, basically you win. So, and I think he'll have a big monster bounce back game tonight. I think he knows what time it is. I think Arizona's little bit of inexperience might catch up to him here. I don't think the stage would be too big for Kyler Murray, though. I think he's going to ball out. But I think Russell is just going to make a few more plays and play big tonight. Like I said, they playoff predictions. Like I said, I think they're going to make the playoffs as well. I think, like I said, I think all 3 teams wind up making it. I still don't believe in the Rams, even though the Rams been playing good football. I'm still a little skeptical of the Rams, you know, and basically it's because of Jared Goff. I just put it out there. I've put it out there since that Super Bowl loss. I really lost a lot of confidence in Jared Goff. He's a decent quarterback, though, but to me, I think he's really tied to McVay. And I think that's more of a detriment than a good thing. I think he relies on the system a little bit too much. I think when things don't go right, he can't make the adjustments, in action. That's just my opinion on Jared Goff. But the defense is still with Aaron Donald. I've been talking a lot about the Rams, but with this division, you gotta bring them up. But yeah, as far as the playoffs, I think, like I said, I think all 3 teams wind up making it. Like I said, if somebody comes out of nowhere, I think it's going to be Minnesota. I think the Bears are done. I think Detroit just is Detroit. Like all these teams that's not sort of outside looking in. Just don't see any of them coming back other than Minnesota with Dalvin Cook and the way Kirk Cousins been controlling the ball lately. And they be playing better defensively as well. So I would like Minnesota to come back. Other than that, I think, like I said, the NFC picture is pretty much set. We're just waiting for the end here. And Seattle's future, like I said, their future look bright. Russell Wilson ain't going nowhere for years. He got his big contract in the offseason. Gonna have to, like I said, they're gonna have to get changed, do something with this defense though. Or like I said, it's gonna be too much pressure on Russell Wilson. Like I said, I totally brought up DK, but Tyler Lockett, he don't get a lot of love either. I think he leads the league in touchdown receptions. He's been on fire. Him and DK Metcalf really go well together. I think the Seattle running game, they had some injuries in the backfield. Like Carlos Hyde, I think they say he might play tonight, though. I think I saw a report that he's going to play. So they get him back. Like I said, I think they're going to make the playoffs again this year. But beyond this year, I think just got to, like I said, continue to build around the team. Definitely defense will definitely be something to look at during the off season. All right, final prediction. I think it's going to be a high score game. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I don't like really picking scores. Like I said, I don't like picking the exact scores. But I think Seattle wins 41-38. Pretty high. Might be in the 30s, I think, for sure. With both of these teams lighting the scoreboard up. Now it is. The game is in Seattle. Weather could be a factor. Could be windy. Could be rain. And, Seattle's weather is never, not perfect. So maybe the weather factor into this game. I don't know how the weather's going to be there, but I see a lot of points. I think Russell Wilson, I'm going to say I'm going to go ahead and put all of him. He ain't going to turn the ball over tonight. So with that being said, I think he wins it for the Seahawks. 41-38 is my final score, which means Seattle will go back up the top for the division and get their season back going. And the Cardinals will, like I said, I think they ain't going nowhere. Despite if they lose this game, I think they'll be right at it to the end as well. And it will eventually clinch a playoff spot. But I got Seattle still. I'm a little bit skeptical. I had them coming out the NFC. I'm a little bit skeptical about that now. But I'm going to stick with it. I had no reason. I mean, I had reasons to change my mind, but I'm just going to stick with them. We still got Russell Wilson. To me, that's the difference between a lot of these teams. So that's it for tonight's game. Like I said, enjoy the game tonight. I think it's going to be a second game. Probably going to be one of the better games of this year. Most of the exciting games, so I'm kind of excited for it. I can't wait for it tonight. Okay, let's move on to the power rankings for week 11. Of course, I skipped a few weeks. So I had internet trouble 1 week. Another week this happened. So, but this is the first week I've done it 2 in a row in a while. So, it didn't change too much at the top. Let me look at the previous one because 2 teams fell out. And we got 2 new teams in, even though one of these teams was in it before until they lost a few games, but I put them back in. So, and 5 is always tough because there's so many teams. You could argue for 5, 4, and 4 as well. I think you could argue 5 and 4 for a lot of teams. But I picked the Colts. Colts been playing pretty good. Had that big win against the Titans. Have the best defense in the league. I just they play better football. Like I said, you can argue for the Titans. You can argue for the Ravens, the Dolphins. By the way, none of these teams is above this, of course. The Cardinals and Seahawks, both of them teams that's playing tonight, they're not in my top 5 either. But you can argue for any of these teams to be in that 5th spot. But I'm going to go with the Colts. I just think defensively they playing better, and Phillip Rivers have been playing better as well. And I think they're going to be a problem going forward. They took control of the AFC South. So I had to put the Colts here. Green Bay Packers are number 4. The Packers, like I said, you don't kind of know. I mean, when you got Aaron Rodgers, but just the Packers just feel, how can I put it? It's like I don't want to say they frauds because I believe in them. I think they're a good team, but like how they looked against Jacksonville this Sunday, it's hard for me to put them in. But honestly, I put them up there because of their record. There's not a lot of 7-2 teams. So it's like I had to give them they due. But they was in my, rankings for the first few weeks of the season. That big win in Minnesota in week 1. And I thought this would be a big year for Aaron Rodgers. It has been. He's also in the MVP conversation as well. But overall, it's just the Packers just at times just look average. But since they 7-2, I gotta give them their respect. So they're number 4. And number 3, the New Orleans Saints. They was number 3 last week as well. The fortunate news for Drew Brees, like I said, we'll talk more about it the weekend, but he does have fractured ribs. He's going to be out for a while, so it looks like Jameis Winston is going to start for the New Orleans Saints. So I kept him there. I thought about moving him down because of the Drew Brees injury, but I mean, like I said, I like Jameis Winston. I think once he'll turn the ball over, he definitely can get it done. He can get the ball down the field, get the ball out of his hands. So I think the Saints, of course you're losing something with Drew Brees, but I think they'll still be steady. The defense been playing better. Alvin Kamara been playing out of his mind. He should be thought about for MVP other than all these quarterbacks. But I think the Saints will keep it pushing. And I think they pretty much wrapped up the South. I mean, I ain't gonna say wrapped up the South. They Tampa still have a shot, but they recently got 2 games over them. So I just think they'll wind up winning this division. Maybe even the 1 seed, which would be huge. Especially with the way this year is with COVID. So Saints is number 3. Number 2, the champs, the Kansas City Chiefs at 8-1. Quietly, Mahomes having a monster year again. Big game this week with the Raiders. Now, Raiders did give them that 1 loss. Been a lot of trash talking here and there. Sunday Night Football as well. That's a big game this week. I'll give you more of my predictions then, but I think the Chiefs will come in there and focus. That's all I'm going to say on that. But they're number 2, and then number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers number 1 this week, 9-0. Even though, like I said, I did pick against them last week. I was wrong. I thought Cincinnati would upset them, but they dominated them. So to me, that was impressive. Even though Cincinnati is who they are, Joe Burrow still, getting his feet wet in the league. But I was impressed by that win. They looked as sharp, looked as motivated. So maybe that's all it was. The last few weeks they were sort of dragging, barely getting wins. But they didn't fall for Cincinnati. Then they got Jacksonville this week. So we'll see what's happening with the Steelers. People talking about undefeated. I don't know. They still got they got the Ravens Thanksgiving. That's going to be a tough game. I think the Browns, I think they play them again. I think that's going to be more of a tougher game. So just those 2 games alone. That I think they play Kansas City. I might be wrong. I know they play somebody significant in the next few weeks. So we'll see how that goes. But Steelers definitely got to be number 1 because they're 9-0. So here's my top 5 again. Number 5, the Indianapolis Colts. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers. Number 3, the New Orleans Saints. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. And at number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers. My top 3 didn't change, and the Packers and the Colts broke through as Buffalo and Seattle fell out due to their losses last week. That's my power rankings for the week. You can debate potentially 4 and 5. I think the top 3 is clear. Saints, Chiefs, Steelers. I don't think you can argue with that. I think nobody would disagree with those top 3 teams. But Packers, like I said, Packers haven't looked sharp, and the Colts, they 3 losses. There's a lot of 3-loss teams. Miami, like I said, Cleveland, the Baltimore Ravens. Even teams in the NFC, like I said, these 2 teams tonight, Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, you can argue all those teams could be at least 4 or 5 in this rankings this week, but I decided to go. I think the Colts are just playing a little bit better than all those 6-3 teams, and the Packers, just because they 7-2. If they had a 6-3 record, then yeah, they'd have been debated if they could have been in the top 5 or not. And then the way they just looked against the Jags. So that's my power rankings for going into week 11. And like I said, Saturday, a huge show where we got some baseball news. We got basketball news, like I said, with the draft, with the trades that's happening this week. Might be more trades coming. Chris Paul to the Suns, that's probably been the biggest one so far. And of course, the NFL week 11, a lot of big games. This mission, Chiefs, Raiders. Packers played. Actually, the Packers play the Colts. They play each other, so one of these teams will probably fall out. A lot of big games this week, so we'll look into all that Saturday. Like I said, I might just go ahead and go live again. It'll be in the morning though, for sure. It'll be an early morning live. That's why I might go live just to get it over with. And wrap things up for that day. So I probably gotta start getting my notes together for that show as well. That'll be episode 155 Saturday, right here on the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. So like I said, I got the Seattle bouncing back, winning tonight, evening up the season series at 1 apiece, and getting back in control of the division. But I think it'll be an exciting, nail-biting, close game again for these teams. But I think Seattle will come up on top. So that'll do it for this edition of the Solid Sports video blog. I want to say thank you to all my supporters. I want to say thank you to just everybody who's stuck around for the channel. It's sort of a bit of stick in the mud, you know, no new subscribers in a while. And then with the channel in general, now I got some new content. Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I just did my first video on that last night. That's up right now. I might do another one today before I go back to work. Cyberpunk is coming. That's in December. Cyberpunk 2077. So look out for that. And I still got some Crash videos to do. I ain't forgot about Crash. I think I'm right at the end, the face, Dr. Cortex. Then I'm gonna have to backtrack and get all the gems and the relics and stuff, which is gonna be a brutal experience. I already know it's gonna be tough. So, but I'm gonna give it a shot. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the game tonight. Huge game. It's gonna go a long way. Should be an exciting game tonight. Cardinals and Seahawks. Big game for the Cardinals. If they can win this game, it'll be huge for them. But I think Seattle sort of needs it, so I think that'll be the difference. I think Russell Wilson will be steady tonight and don't turn the ball over. I'm Troy West saying so long, and thank you for watching the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. Thank you for watching the Solid Sports video blog, and I'll see you on Saturday. Thank you so much.